5. Illuminati, the Punisher. One angle the Illuminati uses is that they are the secret justice police, the punisher of hidden offenses or karma's right hand. Let's examine that. The CIA and NSA, agencies of America, are the best parallels or possibly the cover to what the secret societies try to do. They're rarely held accountable by the people, in part because their workings are covert. We expect them to do good on behalf of the people. But why is it many times we hear of an insider telling the public of the alleged foul workings of these agencies that the insider is the one punished? It is the same in the Illuminati secret societies. Some brave soul wants to cut from the ranks and expose the plot against the masses, but they are sworn to secrecy, so they can only hint as to what happens behind closed doors. They usually get shunned, disgraced, excommunicated, moved out the picture, and antiquated tactics of killing they try to really use. But we see insiders have legit beefs with the workings of the underworld. This is exactly what the mafioso underworld was and still is, the Illuminati. Blood oaths and La Cosa Nostra secrecy, plus a gangster mentality to punishment. How one goes about the punishment isn't the problem. It's only if it's deserved. And there's plenty to question about the Masonic and other Illuminati practices and intent. Our society, and secret society as well, aims to rid the world of degenerates and deplorables, child molesters, assholes, cowards, and any personality type society finds they'd rather live without. What makes them think they have the right to do this? That would be like the community picking who gets to reside in the neighborhood. That is already illegal in the natural world, so to flip the saying, as below, so above. Or it should be wrong in the spiritual as well. Souls didn't enter into a popularity contest, and we don't parade around like Bojangles for your enjoyment and approval. If you can't stand someone's lifestyle that in no way harms you or others to a point you want to kill them, then you should kill yourself for being a weak-minded, self-centered, pompous, self-righteous bitch. How could they justify this purge of society? Only one argument is worth discussing. If we are all connected and affected by one another. Are we all one? On a spiritual level, it is spoke of many times how we are all one and how this world functions on a symbiotic level. If the images portrayed in nature truly mirrors the spiritual realm, showing that all things came from something, then everything came from one thing, the original consciousness or God. Now consider your anatomy. Individual cells make up one functioning unit called your body. When a cell or what have you isn't performing, agents made to save the whole body are sent to exterminate anything harmful or wasteful to the body. Almost all forms of biology fight for its existence, even down to the microcellular level, but consciousness is different. Consciousness is the pinnacle of existence. When you become conscious, an ability that's inherent because we are all consciousness, you become one with the Creator and creation. Now, what does that mean? I have a conscious perspective and others have theirs. That's not us as one. So what, if anything, keeps us together? On a spiritual level, do they have to share experiences? Would a weak link be a threat to your safety? If yes, without evidence of these, I can't find a moral reason for the world to judge as they do. Even if the questions prove true, it would still have to be checked if alternatives could have been done. And even still could be wrong based on other factors I will explain. So an injustice is done every time one is punished for a non-aggressive act that just merely offends society or makes the person unlikable. If you don't like the sovereign soul, don't concern yourself with them. It's that simple. But these people feel they owe it to themselves to make you likable to them. But don't worry, it's for your own good. Now, as I said, some killings may be spiritual sacrifices for power, others to feed a breed of vampires. Those are sinister and unnecessary in creation, as our potential in space is unlimited. It's not necessary to destroy one or recycle them to your liking. All have a right to live how they want. The Illuminati know this, which is why they use guilt and fear tactics to get some to believe that they are unworthy of life. Just remember, nobody's perfect. Now, let's explore if and why the Illuminati may be carrying out unjust punishments, even on those we may otherwise feel deserve it. For one, most of the punished are not aware of and consciously practicing their true nature as spiritual souls. Their knowledge of self and the universe is skewed, and that's mainly due to the Illuminati. I would argue that if they knew the truth of self from beginning, their actions would be different. Better or worse, but different. My synopsis is most would act better. They say people's behavior changes for the better when they know that they're being watched. Because of that, they say the true measure of a person is what they do when nobody's looking. True, but who are you to measure people in the first place? In addition to the lack of knowledge that may produce society's sick people, the environment they live in helps breed the same ones despised by society. Is it their fault society that they are forced to conform to is also sick as well? As humans, we are just products of our environment. Society isn't completely sick. Lots of positive things displayed, but the negative is orchestrated to challenge the participant, willing or not, to overcome these things. But if they don't, society seeks to kill them, shun them, or give them more adversity until they seek suicide. This happens to people of all ages, children to the elderly. Those things aren't done to empower them or give them ease, but to destroy them and give the rest of society ease. If someone is seen as weak, why give them more pressure? This society relentlessly hunts the weak like ancient Rome or a Hunger Games society, where it is survival of the fittest, not by natural design, but by conscious order. If it was just preset design and laws, then that would take some wrong from the people. But if set order doesn't produce a failure, the secret society tries to finish them off. They use tactics like stalking, harassment, entrapment, all things that are illegal in the natural world. The way we run a government in the natural is a better model if we are going to accept an order in the spiritual realm. Of course, we should all be enlightened and conscious of our powers. With this as the platform, any punishment would have to come correct, and the last factor to get the edge would have to be justice. We would have to utilize resistance, protest, compromise, and boycotting before war to execute just punishment. Unlike what is done now in society, because you can't call an enlightened, conscious, and knowledgeable being inflicting its will or manipulating an unenlightened being war. The Illuminati also seeks ritual sacrifices, which is why I truly doubt intentions that they claim to build up humanity. If there must be a spirit sacrifice for whatever reason they need it, that would mean the Illuminati creates conditions for some to fail, though not guaranteed to work. Unfortunately, some are born to be sacrificed, whether due to birth date, birth order, or just because they need one. Maybe something in your life you aren't to blame for, but they will use guilt to try to drive one to suicide or more. Why have only people that can stand the pressure of the test if all the pressure is fake? If it was just about people acting right, the conditions would be changed that produce the ill. If the capitalist economic system must produce losers, then something is wrong with the system, not every broke person. The same is true for any system. Do the ends justify the means? If you pass the test, you can argue that. But for many that don't, and some that I know are set up to go against all odds and fail, aka a born sacrifice, the ends are different and not justified. So punishing people in a world that seems to some to be punishment already is immoral. Justice should be based on the non-aggression principle. Violators should be dealt with in a timely manner, same as the statute of limitations applies on our earthly world for most crimes. Lastly, punishment should be equal to the offense. What's bad or not is relative, but the punishment should try to mimic the offense. 6. Illuminati sacrifices. In the previous chapter, we explored how the Illuminati does and needs ritual sacrifices and how that takes away from the integrity of them imposing punishment on others. But why these sacrifices? First of all, it's all made up, so one person or group must have imposed these conditions on another person or group in a spiritual agreement or debate. Some accounts state that sacrificing is a way to gain powers. Some claim it as a way to keep a body alive beyond its normal lifespan. One must drink blood. Religious accounts claim God seeks devotion by asking for your firstborn as a sacrifice, or for payment of sins for offering to God. Those may just be covers for the first two reasons. You see this as true because organized religions have based most of their practices off of pagan traditions where ancient ancestral spirits communicating with the living have asked for sacrifices for various reasons. This seems to be the true source for the sacrifices, and also that it's made up as well. Subsequential excuses for sacrifices, though they might be true for other reasons, like population control, purge cancers, justice for wrongs, and society seeking change. If people are meant to die for these various reasons, aren't the natural laws of the earth and set consequences enough? I assume not, because sacrifices are carried out to add, but we will stop this. Trying to justify sacrifices, you hit a brick wall every time. The only just killing is in combat. But even most of that has turned into a sacrifice playground for the Illuminati. Entrapment and methods of harassment to get others to attack corrupt something borderline wrong already. But people do nefarious things to get power and win in this world. Maybe all that matters is victory, but the point is it's all made up. Justice and winning can be done simultaneously. Foolishness doesn't have to be the price for power. I don't consider this real spiritual power if it's based on something external. The external things were created by spiritual power, so it's just a game. Are these means just being carried out just to meet the end goal where the system is fixed? Or is this how they plan to keep things? Hopefully, when this information is exposed, the whole of free society can come up with solutions to normalize or eradicate these precepts. Anything can be viewed rationally, presented into the public light. If there's already plans to change this internally, I hope they have the right goal in mind.